Hi, welcome to Gemini Star Spiritual Wellness. Thank you for joining me today. I'm excited that you're here with me for this video. So in today's video, we're going to be doing the next installment of the Chakra Information Series, our next video. And today we're talking about the third eye chakra. So before we get into that, though, please remember to like and subscribe. Hit the like button so that this information will go out to more people that need to see it. And hit the subscribe button so you get future videos that I put out on this channel. So the third eye chakra, well, before I get into that, I just want to say, before I get into the information, I'm sorry if it's dark in here. It's cloudy and overcast outside, and I've got the light on as bright as it can go. Shining on me, but I still feel like I'm pretty dark, so I brought the candle over. So sorry if I seem dark to you, but yeah, I think we're going to get some rain here today. So our third eye chakra is considered to be the chakra that connects us to our sixth sense, or our ESP, and it's located right here above our brow. You can see right there. And it's the last one on our physical body that has a front and back. So it's got a front that comes out like a funnel, like that. And then it's behind our head as well. And it's always, like all the chakras, it's bringing in information, bringing in energy and kicking out negative energy. And it's always coming and going and it's spinning. So think of it like as a little tornado. So if you're interested in learning more about chakras, basic information, or the other chakras, you can go on the channel. I have a playlist where I have all that information that I have put into a playlist, all the previous videos I've done on chakras. So you can go back at your leisure and watch them and get that information. So the third eye chakra helps us to have insight into the higher realms. And when you start getting into the throat, third eye, and crown chakra, you're getting more into the spiritual realm. So the lower chakras, the root, sacral, and solar plexus, are more connected to our physical body. Your heart chakra is kind of like a bridge between the physical and spiritual, and it brings it all together, and it's connected with unconditional love. And then the throat, the third eye, and the crown chakra are more connected to the spiritual development, growth, and our consciousness and our connection to the divine. So our third eye chakra is linked to the pituitary gland, and this gland is helps regulate our body cycles and maintains our body cycles, but it also helps us with the emotion of fear. It regulates that in our body as well, and it's also connected to the pineal gland. And the pineal gland, it looks like a little pine cone. It's a real small gland, and it's located like kind of in the middle of your head. And when it's opened up and it's turned on and it's working properly, it really helps connect us to divine source energy. And it really helps with our intuition and our psychic abilities and helps us with that connection. And when our third eye chakra is open and functioning properly, it can really help with our intuitive abilities and help to strengthen them. And it also works, the third eye chakra also works as a team with the crown chakra to help with communication. So the two of them kind of work together to help us communicate with the higher realms. And when the third eye chakra is open and working properly, it can help us with our earth mission. It can also help us experience spiritual growth and expansion of our consciousness, which is very important, to have those things happen. So it helps with that process. And right now, I feel from what I'm seeing is a lot more people are spiritually awakening. So you're going to see a lot of people's third eye chakras really start to kick in the gear and really start to be, functioning, working properly. But also, as that process happens, we have to get rid of the negative energy, the negative blocks that our third eye has had that kept it from working properly. And we have to allow our, pineal gland to really function properly, and get turned on and decalcified to make sure that it's functioning properly because it's all connected. But and what's most interesting about this is this chakra, it takes 7 years for a chakra to fully develop. So it takes a long time for each chakra to fully develop. And for our third eye chakra, we're working on really developing that between the ages of 35 and 42. And which is interesting because The lower chakras, we developed them when we were, from birth and then on through our childhood into our young adult years. And those are all about, like survival and security and, physical things. But by the time you're getting into your mid 30s, it's like now it's time for for those spiritual things to kick in, the spiritual growth and a spiritual awakening and for your consciousness to grow. And then in the throat chakra video, I was talking about that one opens up between the ages of 28 and 35. That's when that one's really developing. So it's interesting that so really at the age of 28 is when you start really getting into those spiritual chakras and you start really working on that. And you think about the third eye chakra, though, the ages of 35 through 42, it's like, that's when you really start to kind of see the world in a different perspective. You have maturity, you have experience, and you start to look at the world in a different way. I know me personally, in that age range, I looked at things in a different way. I started to look for a deeper meaning to things, and I started to question things that maybe I didn't question before. And I started to look at things on a much deeper level and, start wondering about your life mission. Are you on your life mission? Are you doing what you're supposed to do? Are you following your heart? So those are some of the things I remember thinking about during that age range. And another thing that's interesting is even though I've had psychic gifts and abilities my whole life, during that age of the third eye chakra being developed is really when those like abilities kicked into gear, and it really got even much more intense than it had been like when I was a child or a young adult. So I definitely can attest for myself personally that I knew that chakra was developing during those years because I definitely had many more psychic abilities come online, much more things, psychic experiences, things happening, and then like expanding my consciousness. And it's hard to explain what that's like because it's like things, I guess the best way to describe it is things that you didn't understand before that didn't quite make sense maybe a couple years ago, all of a sudden you understand it. All of a sudden it makes sense. Like all of a sudden you can see behind the curtain and you can see the deeper reasoning of things and you can see things on a different level of understanding that you couldn't even just a few years ago. So if you're having trouble, if you're having, traumas or things going on between those years of 35 to 42, when you're developing the third eye chakra, it can cause problems as far as blockages and issues that to keep your third eye chakra from working properly that you have to work through. So, that's just to keep that in mind that, if you're having trauma, things going on with the third eye, it can cause during those years, it can cause problems with your spiritual growth or your expansion of your consciousness. So, some of the physical symptoms of blockages of the third eye chakra would be like sinus issues, headaches, kind of a having problem with concentration, but kind of like having a heavy feeling of you, like spiritually feeling very heavy, and not feeling light. And also a sense of being very judgmental, and not coming at a place of, love and being open. And when we have negative thoughts and emotions and words, so not just thoughts and like thoughts and emotions, but also words that you speak, because words have energy to them, it can lower our ability of healing the color rays associated with each chakra. And so it has a detrimental effect on our chakra's ability to be able to function properly and as far as heal and get rid of blockages. So it's really important to keep your words, your thoughts, and your emotions at a high vibrational level so it doesn't, so you can release these blockages and it's not adding to your chakras not working properly. So, and the blockages can also affect us, mentally. Those were the physical symptoms, but can also affect you mentally and spiritually as well, and not just physically and emotionally as well. And you definitely don't want that. So, the third eye chakra is connected to the sixth energy layer around us. So, if you've been watching the videos, I've been talking about there's electromagnetic fields that are around our body, and there's 7 layers of them. and it's kind of shaped like an egg, coming around our body. And as you go out further, they're further out. So like the first layer is closest to your body, and then second, third, and it goes out from there. And these layers are all connected to our chakras, and they work with our chakras. So just think of like you have energy coming in and going out of your chakra at all times. Well, it's also connected to that layer, and it's pulling energy from those layers, that layer that it's connected to around your physical body, and also releasing it out. So this is the celestial body layer, the sixth layer. And it's the layer of celestial love of the divine. So once again, it's connecting us to those higher realms, to to the divine. And it's the celestial love of the divine. It's a stronger love than like human love. So it's like human love, but much stronger. It's way more stronger than human love. And I think it goes into if your heart chakra is developing, between the ages of 21 and 28, and then you're getting into the throat chakra, and now you're 35 to 42, so your heart chakra is hopefully developing and opened. It's already developed, it's opened, and if it's working properly, then you're able to feel more of that divine love of that layer. And it is much stronger than human love. I feel like we probably have no idea. We probably, as far as our human experience, there's probably nothing to compare it to in our human form, because, it's just not even close to what divine love truly is. So in this layer, the sixth layer is 2 to almost 3 feet away from your body. So it's out quite a ways from your body. And the interesting thing is when you get into those higher chakras, and the layers are further away from the body, that's how you're feeling the energy of others. Because you think about that, 3 feet is pretty far away from your body. So if you have somebody next to you, you're going to feel their energy signature, because your energy is merging with their energy fields, and so you're going to feel that whether it's positive or negative. So just keep that in mind, that how far away these energy fields are from our body. Like I said, 3 feet's pretty far away. It can have an effect on it as well. And we can access this layer through meditation, and also doing our inner work. So what I mean by that is, through meditation, but also just working on yourself, doing strong inner work of growth, spiritual growth, and expanding your consciousness will help you to be able to access that layer. And I know over the last, I guess, 8 months, I have gone through a lot of growth of inner work, and I could feel a difference. Like it's really interesting. Like I was working through things, spiritually, and then all of a sudden, I guess it was like in July, probably no, I remember now. It was like the middle of June. All of a sudden, I felt so much lighter, and I felt like, and I could just tell that I had made huge progress in it. And it's like I could tell that what I had been working on was finished, and it was done and transmuted and gone. And I went and got a Reiki session done beginning of July, and she basically confirmed what I was feeling. Like, yeah, your energy's much lighter. You've grown a lot. And I'm like, yes, I have, and you don't always sense when you're going through spiritual growth. Like you don't, in the day-to-day life, you might not know it, or you might not feel it. But then it just hit me, like all of a sudden I could feel it. And I knew that I had, successfully gone through that process for the last couple months. So, and it's a continual process. It's not like we just do it once and we're finished with it. It's like spiritual growth and expanding our consciousness is this continual thing. And it's happening, on like process. And it's like baby steps, one step at a time. But the people who see the layer, people that are able to see the energy of this layer, they say that it has, a very luminous type light. It's radiating in very strong light, which would make sense because it's connected to the celestial body. And so that's how they describe it in this layer. So also, in this layer, we can feel a connection for the love of everything in the universe. So it's not just feeling, divine love, but it's also a love for everything in the universe. Because, of course, we're all one. So you're feeling that in this layer. And I noticed when I started really going through my spiritual awakening about 10 years ago, I remember going through that. And the best way I can describe it was like in that movie, Grinch That Stole Christmas. He starts out with his heart's real small because he's a Grinch. But by the end of the movie, his heart's like bing, and it gets really big. And that's literally what it felt like to me. It's like heart was small, and then it's like I went through that process, and all of a sudden it's like bink, bink, and I could feel it growing. And then it's just a love of everything, love of people, love of plants and flowers and animals and everything around you. It's like, and it's also a connection to these things and an understanding that we're all connected and we're all one. And we all have that divine energy within us, and we all have, that divine love within us, and we're all connected. So that's what I have for the information, but I'm going to end with some crystals that I wanted to share with you. So aquamarine is one of the crystals that you can use for your third eye chakra, and it's also clear quartz. I've got some. Now I do have a nice clear quartz necklace that I wear on the regular. I've got some clear quartz pendulums that I like to use. But I also have like these ones, if you can see, and they are very clear, very, I don't know if you can see them real well in the camera. It looks fuzzy to me, but hopefully you can see those. And I like to meditate with these stones, because they're smaller, so you can put them on your physical body. But I also like to meditate. When I meditate, I also like to have, some crystals in my hand, and then I put some on my body as well. But this one is this is a clear quartz tower, and I really like this one. I like to hold this one in my hand, and it's a really nice one. I don't remember where I got it, but I've had these crystals for years. And then like the smaller ones like this, I can put on my physical body, like up here, different locations around your body. And then amethyst is another one you can use. And I really like amethyst. I have an amethyst necklace. I have a little amethyst bracelet I like to wear. But this one is special to me. This was given by my mother before she passed away many years ago. And she knew I liked crystals. You can see how it's kind of radiating off the light and shiny. But this one lives by my bed, and it's just a nice big piece of amethyst. I really like this one. So that one's special to me because it reminds me of my mother. And then here's a smaller, unpolished, and you can see the purple. Hopefully you can see the purple in that. Then this is the one I like to hold in my hand when I meditate. It's another piece of amethyst. Pretty. And I really like the color of amethyst. I really like that purple color. And then here's another one that's more polished, smaller one that I like to use as well. So hopefully you can see it, get my fingers out of the way. So those are some of the crystals that you can use for the third eye chakra. So I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope that you learned a lot of information from it. So the next video coming out for this series, of course, will be the crown chakra. And then I think I'm going to do one after that talking about how to, ways you can cleanse your chakras and release blockages, and how to do that. So I'll be doing that in a future video as well. So thank you for joining me. I hope you liked it, and have a good day. Bye-bye.